that's why my money green. They say I can't win a Grammy, I'ma do it for the team. It's okay to color green, cause that's the only thing I see. Cause I be making hella money, you know you can't play with me. It's Big Do up in this bed, and you know you should join the stream. Listen! Before we get into any true crime, I gotta say this because I always say this. This is true crime. This is a serious thing. If you can't handle what they might say or things they might show, I'm gonna let you know right now. Click off the live. Give us like a cool 30 minutes. Pull back up to the live. We gonna be here. Okay? But other than that, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's your boy Do, and I got something for you to react to. Let's get straight into it, bro. He held a middle schooler prisoner for years. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, as I said, the true crime is always a madness, and every time I react to it, bro, I'm just like, fam, people are so cooked in this world, and I'm just so happy I don't live nowhere close to any of these cooked people. But technically, you never know who could be cooked. You actually never know who could be like gone in their head. You never know. You actually never know. Because some of these people were normal people at a point in time. Nobody ever would have thought they would do this. Because always, oh, he's such a good boy. He's such a good girl. And then look. Let's get straight into it.
A college student kidnapped a junior high school girl and kept her locked in his small apartment for years. He practiced using hallucinogens and brainwashing techniques on her to make her his permanent pet. The people you least expect, the least expecting people. I'm telling you. I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor.
Listen, get your money.
Now.
It's not right now.
Bottle that there's an interest in.
Sorry.
Sure, in youth.
Sorry.
A simple.
I don't get a little too far. Hey, not back to the ad. Relax yourself.
Using my promo code, it's the case of Kabu Terauchi, a seemingly normal man.
Kabu Terauchi. Okay. Yeah, no free promo, bro. He's getting a little too. He needs to relax.
From Japan, who was anything but. In his youth, Kabu was mostly a loner at school. He did well in class, but he didn't participate in any clubs and didn't really have a circle of friends. He started being bullied when he was a third-year junior high school student and began to isolate himself from his peers.
Okay.
This period of solitude is when he had his first real urge to capture and confine someone. He wanted to really set them apart from society and the way that he felt he was. It's now speculated that he had some kind of psychiatric disorder at the time, but back then nobody really suspected anything.
When they're getting bullied and stuff, that's usually how it starts out.
When Kabu became an adult, he seemed to act like he was very well put together. He got a lot of admiration from his peers and respect from his teachers. He seemed to be the natural-born leader type. But despite this, he was not without his faults. Not by a long shot. Those around him noticed that when he took an interest in something, he became obsessive. To a concerning degree, to a dangerous degree, even. He was able to hide it well, though. At school, he always excelled. He had fantastic grades and did well enough to enter Chiba University, one of the best schools in the country. He even studied abroad in Canada, where he did his best to learn English and study aircraft and flying in general. He even set out to get his pilot license, and it only took him 4 months to do so. Once his study abroad trip was up, he returned to Japan, and about half a year later, he would completely snap and do something unthinkable. In February of 2014...
See, and this is what I mean. I'm talking about, I'm happy I don't live anywhere close to these people. He was in Canada. He could have stayed down here and did his madness down here. Nah. It wouldn't work down here.
Although being completely unfamiliar with the area, he set out to Asaka City and Niza City, which were both more than 60 kilometers away from where his home in Chiba was located. He was looking for a place that wasn't really too rural and wasn't really too urban. He specifically set out during a time when a lot of nearby junior high and high schools were hosting events. I think you can see where this one's going.
Yep.
He came back to the area from March 4th to 6th and started scoping out the girls who were leaving school alone. He focused in on one certain girl and followed her back to her home, quietly. From the address plate on her house, he was able to make a pretty solid guess as to what her last name was, but he needed more information. He surveyed the yard of the home and found a homemade flower pot on which the girl's name was written. The girl's name was Ana Sato. She was a 13-year-old middle school student only in her first year. But even this early on, she was already a member of the student council and active in learning ballet.
Okay,
The
she's doing
subject
good
I
for
was looking
herself.
for was a middle school or high school student who was weaker than me. I thought about how I could go
Is this
about
his
being
confessional? Is
undiscovered.
what he said?
I wondered about how she would develop over time. I wanted to see what would happen if I confined her, isolated her from society, and put her under severe oppression, said Kabu. While Ana was on her
Why?
way back home from school one day, Kabu pulled up near her in a white vehicle as she was almost back to her home in Saitama. He had even gone as far as stealing a license plate to use on the car during the act. He gave her a grand story about how her parents were splitting up and about how he was actually their divorce lawyer, and asked her to get into the car to talk with him about it. Knowing her full name was likely what gave him the credibility that allowed her to get into the car in the first place. He continued on with his story. He said that her parents were actually deep in debt and well on their way to a divorce because of it. Not only that, he added, but they were so desperate that they were about to kill her and sell her organs for money. He then
My kid, let me tell you something. My kid better not jump in no one's random vehicle. Why the absolute fuck are you jumping in someone's random van? Did I not teach you stranger danger? Is that your auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, cousin? Get the fuck away from that nigga. But why are you in the car? I don't care what story he told you. If that's the story he told you, you cry and you run home and you tell me. And I bet who told you that foolishness? Like, bro, don't. Oh, my kid better not. Like, I swear on everything I love, bro. I hope. I just hope. I just hope. I just hope. I just hope.
and drove off with her in his car back to his home. After taking her home, he sat down and told her that, instead of having her organs sold, she had been sold to him to pay off her parents' debts. Several hours later, Anna's mom started to get worried when she didn't return home at her normal time, or even hours later after it got dark. She asked around, and the people in the neighborhood said that they had seen her talking to a young man near their home that day. The mother decided to call the police and formally report her missing.
Believe it?
She later found a note in her mailbox, one that was apparently written by Anna and seemed to match her handwriting. "I want to take a break away from my home and from school for a while. I'll be with a friend. Please don't look for me." Anna had been forced to write this under duress, ordered by Kabu to do so. Many tense, worrying days passed with no leads on where Anna could be. After 10 long days, another note arrived at the home. This time it read, "I'm sorry to trouble you. I'm doing well. I'll be home in about half a year.
Half a year?
I'm with a high school student that I met online." It was confirmed to be Anna's handwriting. However, both her phone and her computer were searched by the police, and there was no evidence of her ever really contacting a high schooler in any capacity.
Bro, she got kidnapped, bro.
The kidnapping became major news around Japan at the time. Her parents believed that she was taken against her will, but due to a complete lack of information, they didn't have much to go on.
Because
2 years
she's
passed
sending
without them
notes
ever
in her
hearing anything about what
handwriting
happened to her. Gradually,
her
police
will,
efforts decreased more and
that
more
she's
as
home- that
leads
she's good,
petered
she's not
out and
good.
no new information was coming in. Her parents felt as if the police had given up. When Anna started her confinement, she was held up in Kabu Terauchi's apartment near his university in Chiba. While she was mostly inside, she wasn't restrained and was allowed to go outside from time to time, but she was closely monitored while doing so.
What?
After being held for a few weeks, Anna decided to make a break for it and try to leave the apartment. When Kabu failed to lock the front door on his way out one day, she felt that this was her chance. She got out and ran to a nearby park where she tried to get help from anyone she could. She ran into a nearby woman who was carrying her baby and said, "Do you have a moment?" But the woman looked at her and said, "I'm too busy," and ignored her.
Why is it always that? Oh my gosh, bro. Like, why is it always that? I swear it's every single time. If it's not the police, it's a random person. Bro, oh my gosh, you could have saved her life. And my girl, If you go out with him and you're closely monitored, fam, you're outside. You're a missing person. Nigga, take your hoodie off, take your hat off, and run. Then that.
Right after that, she noticed that someone was driving a patrol car and decided to ask them for help, but the car drove off before she could reach it. Defeated, not knowing what to do, she returned to the apartment on her own. She waited a while, but decided to take one more shot. She ran out again, and this time came across an old woman in the same park. She began to ask this woman for help as well, but the woman simply ignored her and refused. Anna lost all hope to break free that day. Nobody seemed to want to help her.
Oh my gosh! She was... Bro, stop. I have so many questions. Like, you left, asked 2 people for help. They said no, so you went back to the apartment. I understand that. She's thinking, okay, I couldn't get out, so now I have to be here. 2. So you left again. And you're trying to tell me the old lady's ignoring you. The mom with the kid. The cruiser ran off. Why didn't you just keep running down the road and hide down an alley or something? And then get someone's phone and call the police? Like, you didn't have to go back. I'm wrong? Like, no, I don't know why she returned. I feel like, bro, as soon as you got out the first time, you should have asked more than just 2 people. Like, I know you're scared, but that's what you should have kept running and not went back to the... Why do they always get out? Or always getting close to getting out? And then after something happens, then you just get cooked. It's either the police are trash, it's either people don't want to help them, or it's either they're just trash at escaping. I don't know which one it is, but like, bro, it's actually like getting to me, bro. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, how can you not help someone who's begging you? Like,
nobody seemed to care about her situation at all. Being in this unfamiliar of an area was also terrifying, being a 13-year-old girl. Even if she were to run off, she didn't really know where to go to get help. For the time being, it seemed she was stuck. According to Anna herself, no sexual abuse took place throughout her entire confinement.
So she's alive.
She stated
still.
that no violence took place either. He fed her normally, usually with food he ordered online.
Oh.
She wondered why she was even there at all. Kabu was ready to fill her mind with a few answers as to why. Kabu had been preparing to confine a victim for years by this point. He had even researched CIA brainwashing techniques beforehand, along with techniques employed by the Aum Shinrikyo cult that gained prominence in the 90s.
You know, that's a
he
fact.
even researched none other than the Fusako Sano case that had ended about a decade prior. This case was a major motivation for him. When researching the brainwashing-related material, he became interested in hallucinogens. He found that the seeds of the Japanese morning glory plant can cause hallucinogenic effects to some extent, and they weren't too hard to come across. Kabu would often mix these seeds into the food he gave Anna in hopes that he could brainwash her more easily while she was under the influence. He would tell her, over and over again, that her parents had already abandoned her, that they had forgotten her, and that they had already moved on. He did his best to reinforce both this to her and that she was of no use to anybody. He forced her to write these things herself, over and over, until she actually believed it. I was abandoned. I have nowhere to go home. Nobody needs me, she wrote, time after time after time. Later on in the confinement, Kabu noticed, among some of Anna's writings, that she had written, "I want to run away," on one sheet of paper. So he immediately went out and bought additional padlocks and surveillance items for the house.
See, like... She had her time to escape. And now he's gonna reinforce the entire crib. Bro, it's cooked.
Everything to reinforce the locks that he had already had on the outside of the home, and also cameras that he could watch through an app on his phone. He even started transcribing every single conversation he had with Anna in an obsessed ploy to further understand her and analyze her. While Kabu was out on campus, nobody suspected a thing. He seemed completely normal. He attended classes, never missing any, went to seminars, and studied on the internet at the library. He even went to overnight events and parties with his classmates without anyone ever noticing anything was amiss. He was never too much of a social butterfly, but his communication skills were pretty solid and he got along normally with those around him.
So if you're getting along normally with people and you're partying and you're doing this and that and you have your friends, why are you acting like elementary school isn't elementary school and people just get bullied sometimes, bruh? Like, bro, it's okay to move past that. Yeah, you got bullied a little bit, but look who you are now. You have your own friend group, you have your own this. Why do you have to kidnap someone and make them feel like trash? Nigga, what the fuck? That shit don't even make sense. I understand if that was still your story, but nigga, that's not even your story no more. And I still don't understand. I don't understand shit.
In March of 2015, the Saitama Prefectural Police organized an effort to distribute over 8,000 missing posters across the area. Anna's father himself also participated in the effort. He said that he never imagined the search would carry on this long. However, the most important person to see these leaflets was Anna herself. While reading about the missing posters online, she saw that Kabu's words were all lies. Her parents didn't abandon her. In fact, they had been actively searching for her this entire time. She then felt the resolve to escape once again. While Kabu had been holding her in his apartment in Chiba for a few years, eventually he moved to Tokyo after graduating from school in March of 2016. By then, this had all been going on for about 2 years.
Damn.
Anna had developed severe post-traumatic stress disorder as a result. She was unable to do anything freely, as Kabu always had a close watch on her. But even the neighbors living around the apartment never noticed anything was wrong. His closest neighbors said that there was no sign of him having a girl living there or even having friends over at all. They never heard any strange noises, and he never seemed to buy more than one person's worth of groceries while shopping. People did notice that he bought a lot of cleaning products, but that was about it.
Other than that,
Anna waited for her chance to escape, and toward the end of March, she finally found that chance.
she was not restricted. You're not understanding. He didn't want to abuse her sexually, physically. He wanted to abuse her mentally. He wanted to make her feel like there was no one on earth that wanted her. Her parents abandoned her. She's useless to everybody. He didn't say, he literally said that she was allowed to go outside. He just monitored her. She was allowed to leave the crib. So yes, she was allowed to go online. She could go online. She could go outside. She ate food off Uber Eats and things. Like, it's just that he was messing her up mentally and wanted to kidnap her. That's the problem. That's the absolute problem right there. I feel like you did not have to do none of that, bro. Like, that was not needed. So, yeah, literally.
Kabu decided to go shopping in Akihabara, and when he did, he left the outside lock on the door unlocked by mistake. This was the first time that he had done so in a long time, possibly in about 2 years, so it was now or nothing. She grabbed a 500 yen coin that he had left behind, roughly $5, and a notebook that she thought might be able to confirm her identity somehow, and ran off.
Strong.
She ran out into the cold weather wearing nothing but sweats and sandals. She came across a nearby train station and saw the giant green monster payphones inside. She used the only money that she had to place a call to her mother. Her mom, in shock and overjoyed to hear her voice all at the same time, had to cut the call short to call the police. She asked Anna to find someone working at the station to keep her safe for the time being. The police came and were shocked to see that this was the missing girl who was all over the news a few years prior.
She's 15
They made
now.
sure that she was in good shape
She's
without any
15 years
injuries.
old now, 'cause she
Upon
started out as
confirming
13,
this,
she's
they
15
placed her
years
into
old now.
protective custody and issued a warrant for
Yeah, she
Kabu's
could have done that.
arrest.
She could have sent the
They
email.
soon rushed over
But
and
she doesn't know
raided
her
his
mom's emails,
apartment.
she's 15.
However, Kabu Terauchi was nowhere to be found. He never came home and never contacted anyone he knew. The next day, Kabu finally resurfaced, all the way over in the Shizuoka prefecture, roughly 60 miles from where the crime took place. He had attempted to take his own life with a box cutter, but he wasn't successful in doing so.
You can see the cut.
He was bleeding pretty heavily from his neck, though. That was when the police received a call that a strange man, covered in blood, was wandering around aimlessly. They pulled up on him and found he was actually the man that the police in Tokyo were looking for. They took him to the hospital in the early hours of that morning. Once he was discharged, he was swiftly arrested and taken into custody. Following his arrest, his university revoked his recent diploma in shame. Plans for a trial began to fall into place, and Kabu was pretty shook. He admitted to kidnapping Anna, but claimed that he only really confined her for the first couple of weeks. He said that after that, she stayed willingly, and he even left her on her own for most of the time. This wasn't completely a lie, but he's leaving out a lot of key information here. His lawyers came to his defense, blaming his childhood for what he had done, saying, the defendant was bullied when he was a third-year junior high school student and became solitary. He began to want to confine and observe someone set apart from society. They said that he very likely had an undiagnosed psychological disorder, which wasn't a surprise to anybody. They requested a psychiatric evaluation. Kabu chimed in, saying that he committed the crime due to instructions sent by his brain. Most people would refer to those as thoughts. On the morning of the first trial in September of 2017, around 440 people gathered up at the courthouse to secure one of the coveted 20 seats in this highly publicized trial. Once the trial came up, Kabu was initially very apologetic, saying that he was very sorry for what he had done to the victim. When he was asked as to why he had previously referred to Anna as an examination subject, he said that it was because he felt that as if this wasn't necessarily a crime, it was more of an experiment where he treated the girl as a lab rat rather than a human being. By this point, Anna wasn't doing much better than before. She was still suffering from frequent flashbacks and had a rough time returning to a normal life after all she had endured for the last several years. She still suffered from periodic panic attacks, bouts of depression, a sleep disorder, and a general feeling of emptiness and dissociation.
Well, yeah, because that's what he was doing to her for 2 years with psychedelic drugs. He was he literally was brainwashing her, giving her trauma.
It was debated upon whether or not she should get an honorary middle school graduation certificate. Although she had gone through something horrible, the confinement did last throughout a major portion of the time she should have been in school, and she missed out on most of the education. In the end, it was granted to her regardless. Before the trial, her mother said that she wanted Terauchi to stay in jail for a lifetime. At the trial, Kabu started acting very strangely. He started babbling, spewing a bunch of nonsense, and telling the court that he was actually a fairy from the forest, that he was only an amoeba. He said that he was really hungry and needed to increase his amount of fried chicken. He responded to questions with statements that were generally incoherent and meaningless. It wasn't known if he had actually lost his mind or if he was simply trying to get a reduced sentence. Either way, the trial was put off while he was given a psychological examination. It was found that he might be somewhere on the autism spectrum, but his inferiority complex was more notable and more relative to the case, or at least the prosecutors thought so. It was also believed that he could be suffering from schizophrenia, and a private doctor seems to have confirmed this. His defense asserted that he couldn't take criminal responsibility for the crimes due to his mental problems. In March of 2018, the district court finally sentenced Kabu Terauchi to 9 years in prison for kidnapping and holding Anna captive for 2 years from March of 2014 to March of 2016. They decided that Kabu was fully capable and that he was criminally liable, able to take full responsibility for his crimes. His defense strongly disagreed, mainly pointing out the schizophrenia, but what was done was done. Kabu was being put behind bars.
Let's go.
While the defense, of course, wasn't happy, neither were the prosecutors. They argued that 9 years was far too low of a sentence for what he had done. By now, Kabu himself had mostly admitted to everything he had done.
But how long
the presiding
ago was
judge
this,
at the time, Satomi Matsubara, said about the sentencing, the defendant was aware of the illegality of the acts as he made attempts to prevent them from being revealed, such as by attaching a stolen number plate on the car he had used to kidnap the girl. The court said that his claims of only holding her for a short while and that she willingly stayed after were frankly bullshit. It was very clear by Anna's state that she was disturbed and traumatized by the entire ordeal. Even if she had stayed willingly, it was due to the trauma and due to Kabu's brainwashing. The confinement lasted for a significantly long period of time, dealing an unimaginable blow to the victim by depriving her of her precious time, the ruling said. The reasoning the judge gave for handing down such a light sentence was that the physical confinement was moderate. The reasoning was that she should have left through a window and that Kabu would often go on trips where she was left alone for significant periods of time. The victim's account suggested that there was no physical violence or verbal abuse during the confinement and that the prison term sought by the prosecutors is too severe, Matsubara said. The prosecutors weren't about to give up on this. So fast forward about a year to February 1st of 2019.
Thank you.
After a long fight from the prosecutors, Kabu was sentenced to a slightly longer 12 years in prison, which was longer than the pitiful 9 years it was before, but, you know. The prosecutors continued to assert that the previous sentence of 9 years was much too short for what he had done. He had kidnapped a girl, held her against her will, and traumatized her for life.
Yup.
It didn't matter if she wasn't physically or sexually attacked.
Yup.
He took years away from her very finite life and has made it significantly harder for her to function in normal society from here on out.
She literally has trauma. She literally has depression, anxiety, panic attacks because of what you did to her. You messed her up for life, so now your life should be messed up in you know what I mean, equal fashion. You see what I mean? I feel like that's just right. I feel like that just makes sense. I feel like that just makes sense.
They had asked for at least a 15-year sentence, but this was the best they could get.
Give him life.
It was an extremely cunning crime where...
I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it one more time because it's been too long. The jail, cement, water, cement under the jail. See what I mean? That's where he needs to go. So if he tries to break through that first wall of cement, we're going to drop the water on him. And if he thinks he's cool, he's going to drown in the debris. Then if you just want to just close and factor, drop that next part of cement on. I'm telling you. Cement, water, cement under the jail. Put him there now.
The victim carefully manipulated the girl by calling her by her full name, which he confirmed in advance, said the new judge in the case, Atsuo Wakazono,
exactly, because he went
as
to
he
the
handed
flower
down
pot.
the ruling.
He went to this. He went to go find
Kabu Terauchi will be in jail for years. It would be nice if I could say that Anna is doing much better now, but unfortunately that isn't the case. We last heard from her a few years ago when she was around 16 years old. She is still very much suffering from the entire ordeal. She's trying to get help, but the severe emotional trauma is absolutely still there.
So, what year was this?
So once again, thank you for watching.
He got sentenced to 12 years. How long ago? Yo, what is going on with my thing? Like... Oh, I know what I did.
Wakazono, as he handed down the ruling. Kabu Terauchi will be in jail for years. It would be nice if I could say that Anna is doing much better now, but unfortunately that isn't.
I know what I did, chat. I made it full screen mode. Full screen mode, you can't see the things. But, back to what I was doing though, because I was not done. March 2016. Whoa, and he only has 12 years? Wait a minute. Hold on. He also in March 2016. 20-year sentence. So you court. Wait a minute. Hold on. You sentenced 12 years by 2-year court on February 2019. Okay. Because I was about to say, he's about to be out soon. Sentenced to prison in March 2018. Okay, so 2030. 2030 to 2030. Yeah, 2030, 2031. He might be out of jail. Lock him back up if he gets out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. People like this, bro, they should not be out. People like this, bro, they should not be out of jail, bro. They should not. That should not be a thing.